Today, I want to speak to you about a mindset, one that separates dreamers from doers, talkers from achievers. It's captured in four powerful words: no excuses, get it done. We live in a world full of distractions, delays, and justifications. It's easy to point fingers, blame circumstances, or wait for the right moment. But here's the truth: there is no perfect time, and there are no perfect conditions. Success favors the bold, the ones who show up, do the work, and make progress, no matter what. The most successful people you admire, they didn't have fewer obstacles. They just refused to let those obstacles become excuses. When you embrace a no excuses a mindset, you take control. You become unstoppable. You don't let fear, failure, or fatigue derail your vision. You hold yourself accountable, push through resistance, and execute every single day. Don't wait to feel ready. Don't hope for permission. Don't hand over your power to fear, doubt, or comfort. Get up, show up, step up, and get it done, because the life you want, the goals you've set, they're not waiting for someday. They're waiting for you. No excuses. 1. Own your results. One of the most powerful shifts you can make in life is to take complete and unapologetic ownership of your outcomes, both the good and the bad. When we say own your results, we're talking about adopting a mindset that refuses to point fingers or make excuses. It means looking in the mirror and accepting that your life right now is a direct reflection of the choices you've made, the actions you've taken, and the standards you've set for yourself. This kind of ownership is not always comfortable. In fact, it can be incredibly hard to admit that we are the root cause of many of our setbacks. It's far easier to blame our boss, our background, the economy, our upbringing, or even time itself. But here's the truth. As long as you assign responsibility to something outside of yourself, you give away your power to change it. You become a passenger in your own life rather than the driver. Owning your results means you stop saying things like, "I couldn't because," and start saying, "I didn't, but I will." It's a posture of accountability. It's standing up and saying, "Whether I succeed or fail, it's on me." This doesn't mean you ignore real challenges or pretend obstacles don't exist. Life can be unfair, circumstances can be difficult, but ownership means you decide how you respond, you decide what actions to take, you decide what story to write from this point forward. In any area: fitness, career, relationships, personal growth. If you're not where you want to be, the first step is to look inward and ask, what did I allow, tolerate, or neglect that led to this result? What could I have done differently? That's the start of growth. That's where transformation begins. You can't improve what you won't own. You can't fix what you refuse to face. But when you own your results, you regain control. You take back the steering wheel. You become the architect of your life instead of the victim of your circumstances. And when that mindset becomes your default, something powerful happens. Your goals no longer depend on ideal conditions or other people's permission. They depend on your work ethic, your resilience, and your commitment to see it through. 2. Action beats intention. Intentions are important. They give us direction, purpose, and a sense of what we want to achieve. But too often, people get stuck in the intention loop, where they think, plan, dream, and talk about what they're going to do, but never actually do it. The problem is that intentions without action mean nothing. They don't build businesses, write books, lose weight, get degrees, or create change. Action is what separates the dreamers from the doers. You can have the most brilliant idea in the world. You can map out your goals with color, coded calendars, vision boards, and endless checklists. But if you don't take real, consistent steps toward executing those plans, they remain just that, plans. No matter how perfect your strategy is, it's worthless without execution. The truth is, many people hide behind planning and preparing because they're afraid to start. They fear failure, judgment, or imperfection, so they delay action in the name of getting ready. But readiness is a myth. You will never feel fully ready. You become ready through action, not before it. Even small actions compound over time. Sending one email, making one phone call, showing up to the gym, practicing for 20 minutes. These small steps may not feel significant in the moment, but they build momentum. And momentum is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. Every big success story started with a single, often imperfect step. On the other hand, inaction creates regret. You may find yourself years down the road wondering, What if I had just started? What if I had taken one step instead of waiting for the perfect moment? That kind of regret is heavy and avoidable. Taking action doesn't mean you won't make mistakes. You will, but action leads to feedback, and feedback leads to improvement. When you take imperfect action, you learn, adapt, and get better. When you overthink and wait, nothing changes. You don't learn by thinking about the path. You learn by walking it. The world rewards execution, not potential. No one hires someone for their great ideas if they can't follow through. No one reaches their goals because they meant to. It's the people who show up, who do the work, who take the leap. Those are the ones who move forward while others stay stuck. So remember, action beats intention every time. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to take the next step, however small, and let your actions speak louder than your plans. 3. Discipline over motivation. Motivation is often celebrated as the spark that ignites ambition. But relying on motivation alone is like depending on the weather. It comes and goes. Some days you'll feel fired up, inspired, and ready to conquer the world. But on most days, you won't feel like it. You'll be tired, you'll be distracted, you'll have doubts. That's why if you want to achieve anything meaningful, you have to choose discipline over motivation. Discipline is the muscle that keeps you moving forward when motivation disappears. It's the internal compass that guides your actions regardless of how you feel. Motivation is emotional, it's reactive. Discipline is intentional, it's proactive. When you're disciplined, you don't ask yourself if you feel like it. You do what needs to be done because it needs to be done. High performers, whether athletes, entrepreneurs, artists, or leaders, aren't consistent because they're always motivated. They're consistent because they're committed. They've built routines, habits, and systems that remove the need for daily decision making. They show up on the hard days. They execute when no one's watching. They've trained themselves to do the work even when it's uncomfortable, boring, or difficult. That's the real difference. Motivation might help you start a project, but discipline is what finishes it. Think about it. How many people start the year with big goals, only to quit within a few weeks? It's not because they didn't care. It's because they relied on a feeling instead of a system. Discipline is built over time. It's formed by showing up consistently, even when the results are slow. It's about keeping your word to yourself, honoring your commitments, and choosing long-term gain over short-term comfort. Every time you wake up early when you don't feel like it, every time you go to the gym when you're tired, every time you stick to your plan when distractions come knocking, you're not just building results, you're building self-respect. And that's key. Disciplined people trust themselves. They know that when they say they're going to do something, they follow through. That kind of integrity fuels progress. It creates momentum that doesn't depend on hype or emotion. It's quiet, it's steady, and it's undeniably powerful. Discipline is not about being perfect. It's about showing up, adjusting when needed, and pushing forward regardless of obstacles. It's the difference between dabbling and mastering, between interest and obsession, between wishing and achieving. 4. Be solution-oriented. Problems are inevitable. In life, in work, in relationships, challenges will come. Unexpected setbacks, failures, roadblocks, and disappointments are part of the journey. What separates high achievers from everyone else isn't that they face fewer problems. It's that they've developed a mindset to focus on solutions instead of dwelling on problems. Being solution-oriented means refusing to stay stuck in blame, frustration, or victimhood. It's easy to complain. It's easy to talk about what's wrong, why something can't be done, or how unfair the circumstances are. But complaining doesn't solve anything. It only drains energy, fosters negativity, and stalls progress. When you're solution-oriented, you train your mind to ask better questions. Instead of "why did this happen to me?" you ask, "what can I do to move forward?" This shift in mindset is powerful. It transforms obstacles into opportunities. It rewires your thinking from passive observation to active problem solving. Instead of getting overwhelmed by the size of a problem, you start breaking it down. You look for the next step, the first action, the available resource, the creative workaround. You move from paralysis to momentum. In any team or organization, solution-oriented individuals are the most valuable people in the room. They don't just highlight what's broken. They come with ideas, strategies, and an eagerness to improve things. They don't bring energy that weighs others down. They bring energy that lifts everyone up. Their focus is on progress, not drama, on what can be done, not what went wrong. Being solution-oriented also demands emotional control. When you react emotionally to challenges, you often make poor decisions, or no decision at all. But when you step back, breathe, and assess the situation with clarity, you regain power. You can think logically, creatively, and strategically. That's how leaders operate. That's how resilient people move forward, no matter how tough the situation. It's important to understand that being solution-oriented doesn't mean pretending everything is fine. It means being honest about the problem, but refusing to get stuck there. It's about using every obstacle as a lesson, a redirection, or a test of character. It's the commitment to ask, how can I fix this? Or what is still within my control? And then act on the answer. Over time, this approach becomes second nature. You start to welcome challenges as chances to grow. You become known as someone who doesn't panic under pressure, but instead brings clarity, creativity, and calm. That's the kind of person people respect. That's the kind of mindset that produces real results. 5. Kill the comfort zone. Comfort is seductive. It's warm, safe, familiar, and completely dangerous to growth. If you want to evolve, achieve greatness, or live a life that's truly fulfilling, you have to kill the comfort zone. Not visit it less often, not dip in and out when you feel brave. You have to eliminate it as a way of life. The comfort zone is where dreams go to die, not because you aren't capable, but because comfort breeds complacency. It convinces you that good enough is fine. It whispers that tomorrow is a better day to start. It persuades you to avoid risk, avoid challenge, avoid change, and that's how people stay stuck for years. They don't fail because they tried and lost. They fail because they never dared to push past what was easy. Growth never happens in comfort. Ask any high performer, any elite athlete, any successful entrepreneur. They'll all tell you the same thing. The breakthrough came after discomfort, not before it. They had to do what scared them, what stretched them, what tested their limits. And it was in that struggle, where most people quit, that they found their edge. The comfort zone feels good in the moment, but it costs you in the long term. It dulls your ambition. It limits your potential. It convinces you to keep your goals small, your risks low, and your effort minimal. And the longer you stay there, the harder it becomes to leave, because comfort becomes a habit. You start protecting comfort instead of chasing progress. Killing the comfort zone means you deliberately put yourself in situations that challenge you. You choose the harder path when you know it's the right one. You raise your standards. You embrace discomfort, not because you enjoy pain, but because you understand that discomfort is the tuition you pay for transformation. You accept that fear and doubt are part of the process, and you move forward anyway. This mindset doesn't mean you never rest or relax. It means you stop mistaking temporary ease for permanent fulfillment. It means you prioritize growth over convenience. It means you start asking yourself, what am I avoiding right now because it's uncomfortable? And then choosing to do exactly that. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the decision that growth matters more than comfort. And once you get used to operating outside of your comfort zone, something powerful happens. You start to expand. Your tolerance for challenge increases. Your self-belief multiplies. Your goals grow bolder. And suddenly, what once felt impossible becomes your new normal. 6. Time is not the problem. Priorities are one of the most common excuses people use for not reaching their goals is, I don't have time. But the truth is, time isn't the problem. It never has been. The real issue is how you're choosing to spend it. Every person on this planet has the same 24 hours in a day. What separates those who achieve big things from those who stay stuck is not more time. It's better priorities. Saying you don't have time is often a polite way of saying it's not important enough, and that's okay, as long as you're honest about it, because when you truly care about something, you make time. You rearrange your schedule, you cut out distractions, you say no to what's less important so you can say yes to what really matters. The hard truth is this: your calendar and your habits reveal your real priorities. You might say your health is important, but if you haven't made time to exercise or prepare healthy meals, it's not a priority, it's a wish. You might say you want to build a business, write a book, or grow your career, but if you're spending hours scrolling on your phone or watching shows, your time is telling a different story. We live in a world full of distractions, and if you don't control your time, something or someone else will. Social media, notifications, endless emails, mindless routines. They all steal your attention little by little. And when your attention is scattered, your life becomes reactive instead of intentional. You're not steering the ship anymore. You're just being pulled along by the current. Being intentional with your time means getting brutally honest with yourself about how you're spending it. It means auditing your day, your week, your month, and asking, what's truly moving me forward? What's just noise? When you know your priorities, decisions become easier. You stop saying yes to everything and start protecting your energy for the things that matter most. It also means learning to say no, not out of guilt, but out of discipline. Every time you say yes to something unimportant, you're saying no to something that could have changed your life. Time management isn't about squeezing more into your day. It's about subtracting the non-essential so you can focus on what will create real impact. You don't need more hours, you need more clarity. And you need the courage to live in alignment with that clarity, to structure your time around your highest goals, your deepest values, and your long-term vision. 7. Your word is your contract in a world where talk is cheap and promises are often made casually. One of the most powerful things you can do is to make your word mean something. When you say you're going to do something, do it. Period. That's what it means when we say your word is your contract. It's about personal integrity. It's about becoming someone that others, and more importantly, you can trust. Keeping your word isn't just about fulfilling commitments to others. It's also about keeping the promises you make to yourself. How many times have you said, I'll start tomorrow, or this is the year I finally change, only to fall back into old patterns and break that silent contract you made with yourself? Every time that happens, something deeper occurs. You chip away at your self-trust. When you consistently break your word, even in small ways, you send a message to yourself that your goals and standards are negotiable. And over time, this weakens your confidence, your momentum, and your ability to follow through. But when you honor your word, when your actions line up with what you say, you build integrity, credibility, and a strong sense of identity. You become known as someone who delivers, not just someone who talks. Your word should be binding, even when it's uncomfortable, even when you don't feel like it, even when no one else is watching. That's what makes it powerful. If you say you're going to wake up early, do it. If you say you're going to finish the project, finish it. If you tell someone you'll be there, show up. No explanations, no excuses. If circumstances change, you communicate. If you make a mistake, you own it. But you never treat your commitments like suggestions. This mindset also applies to your relationships, your business, your reputation. People respect those who are dependable. They follow those who are consistent. Your word becomes your brand, and in a noisy, uncertain world, consistency is rare, and therefore incredibly valuable. Holding yourself to that standard means you take your goals seriously. You don't wait for accountability from outside forces. You become your own accountability. You learn to stop negotiating with your feelings and start honoring your commitments. And every time you follow through on what you said you'd do, even when it's hard, you reinforce discipline, integrity, and self-respect.